Hello there, Eagles fans. Welcome back to Philly Eagles Therapy. I'm Basil,
And I'm Baz.
and we are recording Sunday, November 16th, 2025. About an hour after the Eagles take home a victory, or I guess they were home already, but take another victory, another W against another one of the best NFC teams, one of the best teams the last few years, the Detroit Lions. Dad, what are your thoughts on the game right away?
I mean, it's just defense. Defense.
Yeah,
We kind of comfortable there late. We kind of knew what we had to do. We didn't get it all done right away, but man, it was great. It was fantastic.
yeah.
We haven't had any blowouts or any of those big games this year, but great game.
Yeah, consistently winning the close games. I mean, I think the stat was, but before this game, now it's 39 one-score games that the Eagles have played under Nick Sirianni, and they're 31-8. I think that's what makes that number. And you wonder, how many of those were the 2023 collapse that were one-score games and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's just an incredible thing that this team knows how to win these games that are close at the end, come down to the wire. They can just do it. Got a little bit of a help from flag today. That was not so great, but you can't really feel sorry for that because I had a Super Bowl stolen away from me 3 years ago because of a flag like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So unfortunately, the officials suck, and that's something we can all agree on. I just want to get that out of the way real quick. I know that was a bad call. A lot of
Yeah.
Lions fans would be furious. I'd be furious if that was my team.
Yeah.
And but the officials suck. I mean,
Well,
there
they
was missed
stole
calls.
they stole they stole a tush push offsides on us
Yeah,
too, and it was plain and Jane
yeah,
right there. They can see it. They're watching the same game I am, and
yeah. And
so
they've
you take
missed
the bad with the
five
good.
They've missed five false starts on the push throughout the whole season. It feels like so. I mean, it's just I don't know what you want to say. It's just
Yeah, a
it's
couple
tough sometimes. But
offsides too. So
yes, yeah. Dad, let's get into it though. The Eagles win the game, 16-9 at home. Defense was fantastic. That 9 points is really 6 points that the defense allowed, and then 3 points that the offense did because of the tush push that failed at the end of the game.
right.
But let's get into the positive of it. The defense, Dad. A couple last week on Monday during the Packers game, one of my friends was talking smack, and I said, they were like, "Oh, the Eagles Packers, like, why can't they score?" And he's a Broncos fan. He was talking about the Broncos Raiders game, and they're both 10-7 and everything. And I'm like, "Well, it's two of the best defenses playing against each other." And he's like, "Eagles defense is number 17, 18." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's not right." And I think I said this on the podcast, right? That's not right. I know that's not right. That's an incorrect number. And you saw it these last two games. I mean, allowed only 7 points last week, and then technically 6 points by the defense this week. I mean, this defense has been incredible.
Yeah, it's funny too because you and I we glue ourselves to the PFF on the Sunday night just to see where players are ranked, and some of them were pretty bad, and you're like, "Oh, come on, like that's not
Very,
real."
very
Yeah.
middling, very, very
Yeah,
middling.
yeah.
Um,
I'd say it's humbling to a player because you look at it, you're like, he's not that or he's not that. Well, we found out tonight that this defense is for real and it's just getting better and it's amazing. One of the younger defenses in the league.
yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. BG ruins that statistic.
That's
With him being
okay.
that's fine. I thought he
Made a
played
great
well
play.
even. I thought he played well even. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
I mean,
he had my under the nest play there. He
yeah,
pushed that defensive lineman back, and this guy's still pushing hard. He's pushing players back that are, 50 pounds heavier than him. It's amazing.
yeah. I know. I agree.
He's
Let's
ready.
talk about the stats of the defense. So the biggest thing that points out to you, the Lions on fourth down, 0 for 5, and early on they went for it, and you're kind of like, yeah, you have to, and then there was a time where they did a fake punt, and it's funny
Right.
because I said it to you, I said
You
watch the
did.
fake punt, and it
Yep.
happened, and it's just incredible because you're thinking by the time it's 0 for 3 and they're going for it again, you're like, okay, they're gonna get one. Like that's just how it works. They're gonna get one
Right.
for 4, 1 for 5. And
Yeah.
I mean, even if that happened, it's still a great day. But 0 for 5 on fourth down. I
Yeah.
mean, this defense came up in the biggest moments. And at one point, they were 1 for 11 on third and fourth down together. And all together at the end of the game, they were 3 for 18 on third and fourth
Third
down.
down. Yeah. And the thing about some of those fourth downs they missed, it was fourth and three,
Yeah.
fourth and five, I mean,
Yeah.
there was a fourth and 17 in there, but, and you're like,
Well, no,
man,
they kicked the
they're
field
going to
goal on
get
that one.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the last one, but you know what I'm saying? There were
Yeah.
so many. And of course they were, when they were down inside the five, wasn't it fourth and two or something
Yep.
like that?
It was fourth and goal from the 4, the 3.
Yeah. That was
Yep.
amazing.
I know. It was
And
unbelievable.
only the biggest stat really is only two sacks. Well, yeah, I watched that game. I saw Goff get hit 15 times. I mean, maybe more. And some
Yeah.
of those hits were
So
minute he threw the ball, they were hitting him. It was
uh,
fantastic.
these are just the I just pulled up like some numbers real quick by AI showing 16 pressures. I don't know if that's completely true. I
Right.
wouldn't doubt it if it was. I mean, I think it was up there a lot. And they held Goff to really one of the worst stat lines you would see. 255 yards is nothing to blink at, but 14 for 37, the one passing touchdown, the one interception, two sacks, only two sacks, which is crazy, but a quarterback rating of 60.1. I mean, he had the really good play to score the touchdown. They had the two plays, and that was really the only bad thing the defense did all day.
Right. Yeah.
But before that and after that, I mean, this Jared Goff, who he's top 10, top 15 quarterback. He's not
Yeah.
he's no
Yeah.
he's no slouch.
He's
He
great. Yeah.
looked terrible today. I mean, and the
Well, I'm gonna
defense made him look terrible.
and right after they scored the touchdown, right after that fourth down push, the third down push with the offside hand thing,
Yeah,
and then we had a punt to them. And I was saying, and I saw a few comments that said, the defense going to get tired, and I'm like, yeah, they are,
yeah,
and we just needed a couple first downs to keep them healthy, if you will. And that one time we didn't, and they made two quick plays and scored a touchdown.
yeah.
But this much. You could have given that ball back to them at the 20 or the 30. They were not going to score another touchdown. They were not going to score a touchdown there with a minute left if they got it back or something.
I
No, they
would
weren't. There's
I
no
would
way.
agree. I would agree with you there.
Goff was seeing ghosts. He was throwing the ball in the dirt
Yeah,
when guys were wide open. He was just, and the wind kind of stopped. So it wasn't like the wind. The wind was bad early, but late, we saw the flags and the goalposts. They weren't even moving. So
yeah. Yeah, we mentioned Jaelan Phillips. I mean, he was fantastic. He had his first sack on the first sack on the Eagles, and a total of five total tackles. Nakobe Dean also had a sack, which he's just playing like the best linebacker in football. I
man,
mean, I have to mention that because I know he came back late in the season. Sorry, I got a little scratch here.
it's okay.
Came back a little bit late in the season, and he wasn't playing full snaps because Jahad Campbell was in. But you have to think about, I mean, the Pro Bowl and All Pro and everything like that. Obviously, unfortunately, Fred Warner, he had a season-ending injury, so that's the big NFC name, Pro Bowler, and
Right.
Zach Bond's the other guy who's been playing great. I mean, you have to think there's a chance that Nakobe Dean lands himself on a Pro Bowl All Pro list.
He was just amazing. If he can continue to play, at least stretch another
Yes,
4 or 5 games together. But man, when he blitzed that one play, it was just incredible. He pushed that defensive back, I don't know how many yards backwards, right into the quarterback. It was just incredible. Knocked him down. Look, we just kept waiting for a fumble or another pick from Goff. I mean, even that one tipped pass that they got early, but there was a few more that, I kept saying we're going to get one of those one of these days, and we finally got one
we
tonight, and we
finally
got it
did.
early. We
Yeah,
got it early. Unfortunately, we didn't put it in the end zone, and that's really
yeah,
what needed to do. They got to
yeah.
start something's got to fix that offense.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll get to the offense, but yeah, you
Yep,
mentioned
yep.
it. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, the guys in the middle, five total tip passes, three for Carter. I'm sorry, three for Davis, two for Carter, and total of five tackles for Carter. And I don't know if sorry, I don't know if Jordan Davis got on the stat line. Only one tackle. That's right. He had a really good tackle
That's crazy.
on what was his name? What's the running back's name over there?
Oh,
Jameer.
they got Montgomery
Or
and Gibbs.
Montgomery. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Gibbs or Montgomery. I can't. Yeah.
yeah.
Great tackle by Jordan Davis there. I mean, this defense, what a flip. I mean, from a few weeks ago, it wasn't like they were terrible. Like we said, that it wasn't like they were ever terrible. But and I said it to you. I said it on the podcast. I'm like, this. It's not accurate. Like that's not the defense. The
Right.
defense is better
Nope.
than that. And we saw it today against one of the best offenses in the NFL.
And how about Jackson making a play kind of
Wow,
like Maddox did in the Super Bowl? He's
it
like
was just
hadn't
like that.
played, he hasn't been good, and he comes flying up, tips the pass. They got a punt again, and we just like
Yeah,
couldn't believe that we just stopped them again. It was just you just kept waiting, you just kept waiting for them to get that offense clicking. And that one drive, that was it, and that was after the defense
yeah.
had been out there a little bit too long. So
No, I agree. Yeah, I just go to mention again the defense, just fantastic. I mean, over the last 2 weeks, small sample size, you got to see it keep going forward.
right,
But over the last 2 weeks, they're the best defense in the NFL. I mean, there's
oh,
no doubting that. I
hands
mean,
down, hands
yeah,
down. I mean, they're not giving up points. They might be giving up some yards. They're not getting
yeah,
the big sack numbers like Denver is. They got 46. I don't know how many he got today, but it doesn't matter.
yeah,
You hit the quarterback, and we know that there's certain quarterbacks you hit them, and they're gonna fold, and that's what happened to Goff. Just like Sam Darnold, I told you that earlier. We're not really
yeah,
worried about Seattle, even though they were clicking. If you can get to him early and hit him, he's going to start throwing the ball 50 yards out of bounds,
yeah.
and
It'll
that's what
count him.
happened tonight.
They were killing him. Yep. All right, man. Anything else you got to say on the defense? Anybody else you want to mention?
Well, I just thought BG played really well. I know
Yeah.
he's not in there for a lot of snaps, but there was
Yeah.
the one sack he was right there on. It wasn't a sack, but him and somebody else hit the quarterback at the same time. They're hitting his arm. It was just fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean,
That
players
I,
like that, I think Bond led the game in tackles with 7. He had two and 5 assisted, but he had
yeah.
7 total tackles, so he led the team in tackles. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a whole team. It's just not one player. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And Jalen Hunt got in there a few times. I know he had a big I think it was on third down. He hit Goff while he was releasing the ball, and it forced
Yep.
an incompletion and
Yep.
led to a fourth down that they couldn't convert.
Yes. It
And
was crazy.
yeah, Jalen Hunt was in there. Graham was in there. Nolan Smith had a couple good plays, running at almost got an interception there. And
Yeah.
let's mention the Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean getting his
Beautiful.
first ever regular season interception in the NFL. So it's his
Right.
first, technically his first interception,
Right.
aside from the Super Bowl pick six. And I thought he played great. I thought Quinion played great.
Yeah.
I thought the whole secondary, even Adoree Jackson, like you said, I thought he played
Yeah.
his best game of the season by
I
far.
mean, there was a few plays in
Yes.
Goff was throwing those short passes and they hit Gibbs with a couple of them. And, you and I were a little bit upset about that because it just seemed like they quit trying to throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. And I can't stand it when you throw it to a back in the outfield, out in the back, and nobody's out there at all. And you're like, what
Yeah.
are you doing?
And
But
no, Adoree Jackson, he did have he was the one the touchdown was scored on. So not great there, but it is a
right,
pretty unfair matchup when they threw him there on Jameson Williams. You don't want to see that, one of the
a lot
faster
of
guys
speed,
in the league, going
definitely.
against a guy who doesn't really have much speed
But
anymore.
then let's talk about that real quick. And then he makes the catch and he scores a touchdown, and then he makes an idiotic 15-yard penalty.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I don't understand these guys. They don't watch the games, I guess, because he did that. And right away, I'm thinking, early on that win was just horrendous, and they missed the extra point, and now it's 6-6.
Yeah.
And that a game changer as well.
Game
I
changing
just don't
play.
understand, how these coaches let that happen.
Yes.
Spike the ball, give it to the fat guy, let him spike it, and let's go to the side and celebrate, grab a Gatorade or something. But to me, that was just ridiculous. And I don't want to say it hurt them, but you go up 7-6, that's kind of you miss that
It's
extra
different.
point. You know what I mean? You make
Yeah.
what we feel about missing those extra points. It,
Yeah.
it can give you that big shoulder let down. You're like, oh
Yeah.
God, I can't
It
believe it.
makes you
So
shrug your shoulders, make you drop your head. It's one of those plays.
and it's idiotic. It wasn't like
Yeah. That was bad. Yeah.
but yeah, and then some of the calls tonight, that one with AJ when he got pushed down and then they called a low block or something.
Oh,
Just I don't understand that.
that was
They have
awful.
the replay assist. Somebody should have shot down there. Hey, he got pushed over. He didn't even see
Yeah.
the guy. He was
I mean,
rolling.
I would say the same thing for the
Silly.
the false start that could have been offsides, and I'd say the same thing for the last play of the game, or one of the
Yeah.
last plays of the game, the AJ Brown. We talk about the
Yeah.
replay assist. Why is the
Yeah.
replay assist coming in and not telling them that? And I hate
Right.
hearing, I always hate hearing when they bring in the rules expert,
Right.
and they're always like, "Hey, like, what'd you think of this?" And they're like, "Yeah, this is terrible call." And I'm like, well, tell your
Yeah.
friends, call them. Like, so you have the
Tell your buddies.
technology. We have the technology. Like,
It's true.
I don't know. And there goes the debate that we don't have to get into, the
Yeah.
whole taking the human element out of football and baseball
Right.
and all the sports and stuff. But it's just brutal to watch sometimes. And again, you mentioned that penalty at the end of the game. To the Lions fans, I'm sorry. I can't feel too sorry because
I'll take it.
this is just kind of how it
Yeah.
works sometimes. And sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way, and
Yeah.
it's a bummer. But
Like on that punt.
yeah, that was awful. Yeah,
That's all right.
let's
We'll
get
get
into
to it.
let's get into the offense. um, Offense was better than last week. That's not saying much.
Yeah.
Insanely lackluster. I mean, there's at least 2 or 3 times during that game that I'm like, after the fourth down stops, the midfield, and I'm just like, if you don't score here, someone's got to punch the offensive coordinator in the face. I mean, it just can't happen. And they continue to not do it. At one point, I said, you might as well fire him after. If you can't score here, you got to fire him. Like, I don't know, but it's incredible how lackluster it was again. This is just so frustrating that it continues to be this way with all the talent that we have on
It
this
just seems
offense.
like no urgency again. Like you got Nakobe Dean on the defense, and he seems to be making everybody play more urgent. They're playing with, and then like you say, with that one drive when we stopped them on fourth down, we get the ball at I think our 45 or their 45, first down, Saquon 6 yard So now it's 2nd and 4. And then we throw the ball and you get the sack and you're going, why are we throwing the ball there? We're at midfield. Let's go. Let's move the ball. Just horrendous play calling again. But
Yeah, the one sack that Hurts took was again very reminiscent of the one against the Giants a couple weeks ago before the bye. I don't know how many yards he lost on that sack, but it was not. It was just awful. It was a really
yeah,
bad
about 12
sack,
or 14 yards.
something like that.
Yeah.
It was just terrible and just very frustrating when that happens. I always say I know we no one likes intentional grounding, but I'd rather have an intentional grounding than a sack there because
Right.
the reason being is if he throws that ball, you can get a pass interference, you can get a roughing the
Late hit.
passer, you can get a
Yes.
late hit. Yes, it
Yeah.
happens. And I know people will say, well, you can also get an interception. Well, I'm not saying throw the ball in harm's way. Throw the
Right.
ball towards the out of bounds line above a wide receiver's head,
Yeah.
something like that, and then boom, roughing the passer. Like it
Yeah.
just that's how it works, and you
Throw
got to get the ball out of your hands. I
throw
just
it to
can't
the
stand that.
seats where we sit when we go to the games, like 4 levels up. Yeah. Throw as
Exactly.
far as you can.
Exactly. Yeah, put up 16 points, which was enough to win more than 10 points last week, which is good. Helped by the defense there with a lot of short fields and interception by DeJean, a couple batted passes and all that sort of stuff by the other guys. But you get a touchdown from Jaelan, nice rushing, or yeah, rushing touchdown from Jaelan, a tush push
Yeah.
into the end zone where Saquon gets it down to the
To
one.
the inch line. Right.
Unfortunately, couldn't get it in. And,
Yeah.
and how is it? What's our other touchdown? We only scored one touchdown,
Yes.
three field goals.
Right.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks. Oh,
Yeah.
that's disappointing.
Yeah.
That is just so
But I mean,
disappointing.
but that's the thing, early on we get the pick, we're inside, we're the 12 or 14 yard line, and we got to kick the field goal. And I know you and I are like, you can't just kick a field goal there. The NFL rule book says when you get an interception or a turnover, you got to score. Now
Yes.
we took the three, and then of course, then we get another three. But you got to score there. I mean, to really make a statement, and they didn't. Luckily, the defense just bailed them out. But yeah, the offense was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know there were some
I think,
guys that got injured, some players went out, things like that. But
yeah.
just it's still play calling to me. It's still play
Yeah.
calling.
I think what's just immensely frustrating and what's immensely frustrating about it is we go through another week of drama and complaining and all this, oh, this, that. And we were behind, we talked about we were behind AJ Brown. We were like, yeah, it's true. He needs the
Yeah,
ball more. But at one point he had more targets than we had points. Right? He had
yeah,
7 targets, we had 6 points. And it was just
right.
like, it has to work. Like, if we're
Yeah,
gonna give him the ball, you gotta at least make it work. And it sucks because it this they need to find what has to be a middle ground. Again, like yes, you got to get him the ball, but also Devontae Smith only had one catch,
right.
and that's not okay.
Yeah,
He's been having a much better season. He's been having a great year. He's leading the league in receiving yards. He's had 114, 183. He has the most yards in a game by a wide receiver in the NFL this year, and he
right.
got one catch, and
For
that's
seven
just
yards. Yeah,
for 8 yards, and it's
eight
just
yards,
like I don't understand that.
one
Dotson,
for eight.
shout out to Dotson with that huge play that led to nothing because they had to punt. But
Right, but
I
still,
understand the AJ Brown. We got to get him the ball. I get that, but that doesn't mean you got to take away the ball from other guys.
I
There
agree.
has to be a middle ground.
Yeah,
And Goddard, 2 catches, 24 yards. I don't even remember him having those.
right. He had that one sideline pass, and I
Yeah,
that's the one I always say you got it in your back pocket, use it. And they really didn't, especially when it was like third and short. I mean, they just kept running these goofball plays. That flash
yeah,
pass out to Barkley in the flat was just ridiculous.
yeah.
Bad time. You gotta if the defense is going to carry the team, at least run the clock so they can sit down for a little bit because that was just getting to the point of just ridiculous. I
I
don't know
took the
time
knee.
of possession. I didn't really see time of possession
Yeah, I didn't pull it
yet.
up
I
either.
haven't seen that yet,
Let me see if it's. I don't know if it's
but
on
I just
here.
wonder, how that went
Um,
because
we owned it by 11 minutes. We had 35 minutes. They had 24.
okay,
So we owned it for quite some time there,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
great.
we should
That's
have
how you
owned
want
it
to
a little
get.
bit more in the fourth quarter there too. But
Yes, definitely. Um, I haven't even gotten to the note of the bad for the offense yet. That was
I
all on the
know,
good. That was all the good. Um, I, you know, a couple drops here and there that you don't blame AJ for. That was just a bummer. Maybe the cold had something to do with that. I feel like the first two plays were drops, and you're like, "Whoa, what the heck's going on
yeah,
here?" And there was a few more down the line. But I thought overall by Jalen Hurts, not a great game. I'm not going to say it was a terrible game, but by the offense, just again another. I guess last week you would say it was a bad game, And then this week you would say it wasn't, it was just lackluster, feels like the word.
Yeah.
It was less than average. It was below average, but it wasn't terrible. I don't know. It was
Right.
lukewarm, which is the worst thing in the world. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's get into the bad of the offense, Dad. The biggest thing I have to mention. I already posted about it on the Facebook page, the Philadelphia Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs. I didn't shout him out before. I apologize.
Right.
Uh, the the tush push. I mean, I'm you and I have been pretty anti tush push. It's difficult because yeah, when it works, I get happy, but I'm also like I just don't love it. Um, I've always been a big fan of the quarterback sneak. I've always got mad at teams when on first and goal in the one they didn't call a quarterback sneak.
Right.
The tush push, the tush aspect and the lining up of it is really my problem. I don't have much problem with a quarterback sneak, but I hate the whole guys have to line up on the ground and
Right. Right.
move arms and everything. And tonight the tush push was our enemy. It led to two. We didn't convert it on it. I think three times. It led
Right.
to two penalties, false
Right.
starts. That I get one of them wasn't great, but the other one by Cooper was awful.
Right.
And it's just
Fourth and
like
inches. Yeah.
fourth
Fourth
and
and
inches, and
inches.
we didn't get it. Third and one, we didn't get it. Fourth and inches, didn't get it. And like I don't know. I know people are going to disagree with me. I get it. But I just think this is the time where you got to retire it. I mean, and
Yeah.
I get it. I'm not going to say fully retire if it's Saquon had the run down to the 1 yard line. I'm not going to get mad if you run it there. But it just feels like it's just become an enemy of us for the last few weeks, at least this game,
Yeah.
and really this season. I just haven't loved it, man.
I mean, Detroit may have found how to stop it because they stopped it
Maybe.
twice. I don't know what you do there, but I mean, maybe sometimes run it off tackle. But yeah, when it's just a basic 3rd and 1, run your third down play. Let's run the ball. Like, I mean, at the push, like you say, it changes the way everyone lines up. It changes the way, obviously, now how they're calling it because they're scrutinizing. Sometimes they're missing it too. But
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I agree with you. It's just getting too. I thought for sure that 4th and inches we'd get it, and then then we false start and
Yeah.
and then of course at the end when we really needed it, we didn't get it either. So
Yep. And it led to three more points that brought the game to a
gate,
chance.
yeah,
They had a chance,
yeah, yeah. So
Pardon
what's the
me.
word? Punt or don't punt? You and I both said go for it,
It's
not
just tough
punt.
because like you have this play that you've been so heavily reliant on. I think to me it goes back to before the fourth down. I would have ran a different play on third down. I mean
Yeah, I
that'd
agree. Yeah,
probably be the thing I would say.
because it was like
Um,
3rd and 2, not really 3rd and 1.
it said third and one, but it was a long one.
Yeah,
And when they didn't get it, I was kind of like, yeah, that was a pretty long third and one. So it made sense it was fourth and one. But if I was in the situation on fourth and one, I probably would have still gone for it, but I would have
right.
had a different play on third and one.
But
I wouldn't,
especially after what happened last week, right? I mean,
yes, I wouldn't run the tush push twice. I just didn't.
yeah,
I wouldn't do it there. I wouldn't
yeah,
have done it there, is what I would
yeah,
say. And yeah, it sucks because really bad end to half last week, end to the game last week, and really bad end of the game this week technically.
yeah,
And it just sucks that I will say that the end of the half today, the end of the first half, I thought was fantastic. We scored a
yeah.
touchdown with the tush push, which again I'm not super against it on the 1 yard line. But
On that half-inch line, yeah,
yes, yeah,
yeah,
I still would say on first and goal from the 1.5, I'd like to run a different play. I mean, obviously you don't want to lose yards, and that's the risk of it. But
right,
I'm a fan of. I don't think every quarterback sneak has to be a tush push. Like that's my
right,
other thing. I'm fine with a quarterback sneak where he
yeah,
lines up under center, and instead of going, handing it off, he goes, "Hi, oh my gosh, they ran a regular sneak." We
right,
would be good at that. We don't
yeah,
need the push every time. The
right.
push gives away what we're doing, and sometimes I'm just like, we could do something different. We could look a little
Right.
bit different.
Yeah. That was a killer tonight.
Yeah,
It just, not getting that 4th and inches. That should have, and then the defense had to go right back on the field. And what did they
yeah,
do? They put him in a 4th and 17 and they get to kick the
unreal,
field goal.
unreal.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's incredible. Anything else to say about the defense, Dad? Or I'm sorry, about the offense.
Well, there's probably some more things I should probably not say here on the podcast, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah,
I like Tank again. Tank played well.
you know,
He had what, 4 for
4 carries for
27?
34 yards.
34, yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. I like what they did last week when they had Tank and Barkley in the backfield, and I didn't get
same
that
time.
look today at all. I thought
Yeah,
they should be running a little bit more outside. I thought it seems like that's where they're getting their yards, unless we hold, which was kind of a big thing. We had some killer penalties today too that
Yeah,
took back some pretty good plays.
yeah, I would agree. Yeah, no, it's a bummer. And you saw some guys leave the game. Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens both left the game with injury. Lane was determined to be out pretty early on. Cam, I think we don't really know, but they kind of took him out towards the end of the game, so you don't know if he could have returned if the game was longer.
Right, right.
They were kind of walking him away, but again, towards the end of the game, they were just like, "Nah, you're not going back in."
Yeah.
But we'll get more updates from them, so hopefully everything's good there. Special teams, I should mention. Sorry, Elliott,
Great.
great, 4 for 4 in his kicks. Had a long of 49, right down the middle, and I
Man.
mean, it was kind of it made the game a little bit more out of reach, and
Yeah.
made every extra point. Sorry, made both his extra points, made every field goal, and then the only bad of the special teams was Gibson. He had that horrible punt that he
Yeah, he
fumbled.
got almost got blocked into, but
Yeah,
I mean,
that
I
was
thought it's so funny right before that
yeah,
play, I said you just play the punt, and then you got a guy down there
yeah.
and we almost blocked him into the punt, and
Yeah, you
I
said it.
just thought
You
that was
said
silly.
you were like just get the ball,
Just get
and
the
that
ball.
happened, and you were like, I knew it.
I can't believe that happened. But I do want to shout out to the special teams coverage was amazing. They had
Yep.
3 punt returns for 3 yards, so 1 yard average. Keely Ringo, I know we call him out all the time, but he made
Yeah,
a
he had a great.
fantastic
He
tackle
did.
at the 10, 9, 8, something like that. Great tackle on a punt. It was fantastic. So I mean, maybe that's where he's going to make his bones because
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
so. Punting, Braden Mann 7 for 289. Way too many punts. It's just obscene. That is obscene. Seven
Good
punts
average.
is
Good average.
stupid. It is, but 7 punts is just so stupid, man.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. A team
Yeah.
that spends this much money on the offense. Before this game, we led the league in three and outs. I don't know. I mean, it obviously remained the same. Maybe our percentage went down. I don't know. We got some first downs and then punted, but our three and out
Right.
percentage was the lead in the league, and it's just absurd. I mean, it's just so
So
stupid.
third down, we were 4 for 15, 0 for 1.
On
So
fourth. Yeah, brutal.
69 plays,
Unbelievable.
7
Uh
punts.
let me go MVPs of the game, players of the
Oh,
game. We already
definitely.
kind of mentioned them all. It's
Yeah.
all defense. I usually like to choose one, but I just throw them all in. Jaelan Phillips, who was fantastic again. I mean, 2 games with
Man.
us, he's been incredible.
Wow. Wow.
Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and then throw in Kobe Dean, who, like I said, he might be playing. He number one, he might be the best player on our defense, and number two, he might be the best linebacker in the NFL. I mean, at
Man.
least right now playing, he might be playing like the best linebacker in the
Well,
NFL.
when he
He's just
blitzes, there's no
unbelievable.
stopping him. Yeah, when he blitzes, there's no
It's
stopping him.
it's
He's in
unreal.
on running plays and making tackles, and then he's covering guys down the field. He made a fantastic play on that one.
Yes.
Kind of scary. You thought it was going to be completed, but Goff was throwing the ball like,
Yeah.
I don't know, left-handed or something because they were all over the field. He couldn't hit anybody
Yeah.
because he was
For
getting
the
hit so much.
Yeah. For the under the nest play of the game, I'm gonna say really it goes to Vic Fangio for having the starting defense out there on the fake punt.
Yeah, yeah,
So we were kind of confused. We saw the fake punt, we kind of called it, and you're like, "Whoa, Cooper DeJean was on the field," and I'm like, "Cooper
yeah,
DeJean, I don't think he's on punt
yeah.
return. Like he's not a punt
Right,
returner, of course, anymore, and I don't think
right.
he'd be out there for punt return." So you were kind of surprised, and then you realize that the announcers mentioned it. Oh, the starting defense was out there, and I'm like, man, that's it might be a little bit forgotten, but that was a great thing to do, and
Yeah,
it's just weird. Like if you're gonna, I'm not a big fan of fake punts unless it's 4th and 1 and you're like middle of the field and you have something. But
right,
I just when it's well, maybe 4th and 3, 4th and 2 at that point, and they're kind of on the other side of the field. Um,
right,
if you're going to go for it with your offense because you have a better chance of getting it with your offense than a punt team.
right.
So,
Yeah, it was that was a great call defensively, and it's funny because at one point I said, "Yeah, why not go for it on fourth down?" Because our offense was just so stagnant. You're like, "Hey, you think they're going to go for it?" I'm like, "I would go for all of them because they can't
yeah,
they can't move the ball even if we give them the ball to 35." I mean, that's how bad it was at
yeah,
one point. You're just like, and it's not like you don't have the players. It's just you just don't have the I don't know what it is. I mean, there's
yeah,
just no direction. They just seem out of sync continually,
yeah,
especially after this week, like you say, with all the nonsense that went down. You think for sure they'd be at least have like 10 or 15 plays that are, must plays. No
yeah.
problem. We got this. And they just didn't have that.
Play of the game, I guess you could give it to the fourth down to that one. My initial thought for play of the game, I would say it would be the fourth down stop in the
Wow.
goal line, like the
That
fourth,
was amazing.
where they were, the third yard, the third down, or sorry, the 3 yard line or the 4 yard line, wherever.
Right.
That to me, that turnover there, the pressure and the Adoree Jackson coverage. I mean, to
Yeah.
me, that was the play of the game. You could probably the Dotson one comes to mind just because it
That was
flipped
a
the
big one.
field,
Yeah.
and then a 15-yard penalty after it
Yeah. That was
completely
a great
flipped the
pass.
field.
That was a
It
great
was,
pass by Hurt. I mean,
it was
he rolled out to the right. He was in the end zone. And of course, we're like,
scary.
let's get at least to the 20 so we get a good punt. And he
Yeah,
makes that big play. But then again, after that, they went stagnant again.
yeah. I
That's
know
what drove me crazy.
it's a bummer.
Couldn't put
It's a
anything
bummer.
together. And I know, these other teams have defenses just like Green Bay, but they're not that good,
Well,
especially the
I would
Lions with all the
agree.
players they're missing.
I would agree. I mean, the big thing last week was, oh, both defenses played great, and I was like, I, don't, I didn't think the Packers defense played that great. I thought we just sucked. And same thing today. They were like, oh, the Lions defense playing pretty good, and I'm like, I don't think they really have been playing.
Yeah.
Not that they've been playing bad, but I don't think the news is, oh, that Lions defense is playing well. It's just our offense was playing bad.
Yeah.
It just looks very different. The way
Yeah.
our defense was playing, you're going, whoa, they're getting
Yeah.
pressure, they're getting hits, they're doing this,
Yeah.
this, and that.
Yep.
Whereas on the other side of it, the Lions defense, I didn't think anything was, wow, they're killing us. No, it was
Yeah.
just, wow, we just can't do anything.
I mean, they do have great linebackers. Anzalone's
I would agree.
fantastic, and so
Yeah.
is Campbell. They both made
Jack, yeah.
some really good plays. What's his name?
Jack Campbell, is that his
Jack
name?
Campbell. Yeah, but I mean, we just couldn't open holes. And then how many missed blocks did you see on some of those plays? That made it
Yeah.
really hard. Barkley's running through a hole, and if somebody blocked that guy and they just miss him, and the guy makes the tackle.
Yep.
It was like that.
Dad, you got anything else to say about the Eagles game before I jump on some other games from the weekend?
No, I just want to say to my sister, I like football.
She loved that one, didn't she? Yep.
Yes, she did.
All right. Biggest one that happened for us, the Bills beat the Buccaneers. That was huge. Obviously, the Buccaneers are one of those teams that's going to be pushing for the 1 seed down the line. Obviously, we have a tiebreaker over them. And the good news for us is the Panthers also won. So you kind of hope the Panthers can maybe win that division from the Bucks and keep the Bucks out of the playoffs. It's a bit
Yeah.
wishy-washy, I know,
Yeah.
but hey, dreamers can dream.
Yeah, it was a weird game because Buffalo did not look very good early. I mean, at all. And the Bucks were kind of moving the ball. I think they had 7 or 9 lead changes in that game, which made it an exciting game. But yeah, then they kind of pulled away at the end.
Yeah. Next one, Bears Vikings. I know I was kind of cheering against the Bears just because we already beat the Vikings, so we kind of want the strength of schedule. But we get to play the Bears, and we kind of you anticipate that you're rooting for us and expecting us to win every game, basically.
Right.
But they got to play the Bears in a couple of weeks, and I was hoping the Bears would lose, but I saw the rooting guide from Bleeding Green Nation and talked about, oh, we want the Bears to win because if any chance the Bears can win that division and keep the Lions or the Packers out is huge. And I
Right.
didn't really think about that. And it'd be kind of cool if you could, if the Bears could win that division and somehow the Lions or Packers don't make it, that'd be enormous for
Yeah.
us.
And the Packers struggled really mightily against the Giants today.
Yep, that's the
If
next
the
one.
Giants didn't make some bonehead plays, they probably could have won that game. So,
Yeah.
and Love went out for a little bit and came back in. So,
Yeah. Jameis Winston gave you exactly what Jameis Winston likes to give.
yep.
A high flying offense, 201 passing yards, but had that horrible interception at the end of the game, and that's just
Yeah.
what he does. It's a
Yeah.
bummer, but yeah,
Yep.
one of the Packers to lose that one. Didn't happen. The rooting guide said you want the Giants to lose. I'm kind of like, well, why at this point?
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep.
Get them a
And
few
then
wins so they don't get a number 1 pick.
yeah, exactly. Niners won, unfortunately. We always like to see them lose, even if it's against the Cardinals, who I always like to see lose anyways.
Yeah.
But they destroyed them. I mean, that wasn't
They
even a game.
destroyed them. Yeah.
The next big one for the weekend for the NFC was the Rams and the Seahawks. Came down to the wire, had a chance with a 61-yard field goal at the end of the game.
Yep. Yeah.
They're in a dome, so you're thinking it could happen. Wasn't even close. It would have been short,
No.
even if he had it on target. But the Rams take home the win against the
Yeah.
Seahawks.
Well, that's one of those games where the Rams won the game by 2 points. The guys missed, they let the other team kick a 61-yard field goal at the end, and Darnold had 4 interceptions. So how they were still in that game is beyond
Crazy.
me. And it kind of shows you, you know what I mean? It's not this or that, but man, you turn the ball over 4 times, you should win by 20 points.
I mean, that's
So
similar. You say the similar thing to us tonight. I mean, technically 6 turnovers if you count the turnover on downs. I mean,
right.
technically, I know that's different
Yeah.
than interceptions, but
It is. It is.
But it is crazy to think that the Seahawks were still in that game. When you throw four
Yeah,
interceptions, you should not have a chance to win a game.
yeah, that's
And then
true.
the fun one we want to talk about, the Chiefs losing to the Broncos. Yeah, I'm not a big Broncos guy, but definitely a bigger, not Chiefs guy. So it
Right,
was nice to see the Chiefs lose, especially with Nick Wright all week long talking about, oh, there's 0% chance the Chiefs lose this game. And
right.
it's funny, even though I like Nick Wright and I'm gonna listen to him and everything. And in my weekly pick'ems, for some reason, I'm going through it. I picked the Broncos. I was just like, man, I think they're going to win. And for
Yeah,
a little bit there, you weren't too sure. It was a back and forth in a sluggish game, but
right.
they pulled away with it. A nice little game-winning field goal at the end to do it.
Yeah, the well, Broncos did what we say you can't do, kick field goals. They were killing them, but they were only up 6-0 at one point. They had two field goals, and you're like, you got to score a touchdown there, and they didn't. But again, they get hot in the fourth quarter. Bo Nix, he made some plays, and
Yeah.
it's pretty
It
incredible,
wasn't
actually.
so it wasn't so different from our game. I mean, obviously ours was lower scoring, but it was kind of like that, where just back and forth, and can someone break away, and no one could. There
Right.
were so many opportunities for both teams, and it just didn't happen.
And the Chiefs are 5-5, and the Broncos are nine and
Eight
two,
and two, or
eight
are
and
they nine
two.
and two?
I think
No,
they're
they are
9 and
nine.
two. Yeah, 9 and 2.
Yeah, they are 9 and 2 because they have the bye week coming up.
That's right.
Yep.
So
So yeah,
huge game for them.
that division is every of course nothing's locked up yet, but
Right.
you do feel like man the Broncos have a stranglehold on that
Yeah.
division.
And the good thing is next week we just have a regular Sunday game, the late game, but it's still a Sunday game, not a prime time game.
Yeah,
The week after that's a prime time on
yeah,
Friday, that
yeah.
day after Thanksgiving game.
In Dallas next week, wearing the
Yes.
Kelly Green. It's the first time we'll be wearing Kelly Green, not at home, since we
Oh
brought it
wow.
back. Yes,
Okay.
so they're wearing it 3 times this year, and they chose to wear it once on the road, which is
Very
awesome. I
nice.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah, you got anything else to say about football, Dad? Was there any other games?
No,
I mean, the
man.
Cowboys play the Raiders in Vegas tomorrow. Hope to
Tomorrow
see the
night. Yeah.
Cowboys lose that.
Yeah. We'll see how
Um,
that goes
yep. Oh, the Commanders lost to the Dolphins. So
in that early
I
game.
forgot to
Yeah.
mention that, but I didn't really
Yeah.
watch too much of it. It was so boring.
Yeah. Got to get up
So boring.
early.
Yeah. God, I'm so against I don't want to say I'm against the international games, but
International games. Yeah.
it's, I mentioned it to my friends a few weeks ago in the group chat, and they said, what do you guys think of the game? And I'm like, it feels like college to me. And I'm not a big college football guy. I watch
Right.
Penn
Right.
State, but I don't bleed any blue or anything like that.
Right.
And, for me, it's like every time I watch those morning games, it just feels college level ish to me. I don't know
Right.
why. Maybe it's because they send crappy teams, but it just feels like it doesn't feel NFL tier. It just
Right.
feels like wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I'm not a fan either. I mean, I'll get up and watch them, but I'm usually putting around the house, getting
It's when
ready
you
for the games at
cooking
11, right?
breakfast or doing
Right.
this. Yeah, all
Exactly.
that
No,
stuff.
for sure. I
Yeah.
hear
All
you.
right, man. Anything else on football?
No, man, we're good.
All right. You can
Great
follow us
win.
on Facebook. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Great win.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. If you like Philly Eagles Therapy, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and drop us a comment how you feel about this game. You can also email us any questions at phillyeaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Philly Eagles Therapy, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.